Hello, thank you for joining us today for the 21st meeting of the Board of Lake County Commissioners. Would all those who are willing and able please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Grant us, O Lord, light to our understanding, prudence in our investigating, foresight in our planning, sincerity in our deliberating, the grace to follow truth in our judgment. Help us to be moved in our decision, neither by fear nor by self-interest, and to do our work faithfully. May we respect the authority vested in us, for thou art the source of all authority. And may we use in our directives for the common good and for thy honor and glory. Amen. Amen. Thank you all. Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young. Here. Commissioner Plechnik.
Present.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Here. Okay, we have before us the meeting minutes for the regular meetings of April 8, 2021, April 15, 2021, April 22, 2021, and May 13, 2021. Do we have a motion to approve the meeting minutes as presented, waiving reading thereof?
So moved.
Second. Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Okay, this brings us to our first public comment portion of our meeting. Do we have anyone in attendance wishing to address the board? Mr. Massey?
It's for citizens, because the last meeting, Mr. Commissioner Hammercheck, you mentioned, are you coming as a reporter or lobbyist for citizens? So when I'm wearing my hat, I'm acting on behalf of lobbyists for citizens.
That's our bat signal.
Okay, Brian Massey, 8196 Rainbow
The hat
Drive.
comes off during the pledge and the prayer, though, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
so
just making
absolutely.
sure.
Thank you. Before I start, I want to make it abundantly clear that I'm a supporter of the Lake County Board of Elections, Ross McDonald, Jan Claredale, Fellows, the whole nine yards. I've spent quite a bit of time trying to help them out. I'm sure at times they probably thought I was, fighting their issues, and that's not the case. But I wanted to mention to the commissioners today something that I did receive just this morning. I haven't had a great deal of time to verify the authenticity of the what was sent to me, but it was a 21-page document, and it's from the American Foundation for Civil Liberties and Freedom, and
what was that name again, sir?
I beg your pardon?
What was that name again?
It's the American Foundation for Civil Liberties and Freedom. If you try to Google them, you won't find it, but if you go on DuckDuckGo, they'll be the first on the first page. Just to let you know. The letter was written by Christopher Marchton, Esquire, Chairman of the Board of the organization. And if I may just give you the highlights of what he's talking about. The purpose of this letter is to offer the services of forensic experts to conduct a forensic audit of your voting machines free of charge. I think you've known that I have expressed some concern about the ability for outsiders to access our machines. I've made that, I think, abundantly clear. Not that I think that anything nefarious goes on. I just, as a spokesperson for the average citizen, we want to make sure we've got free and fair elections. They said that two versions of Michigan voting systems, both Dominion and ESS, have been found to have utilized wireless technology. The ESS model DS200, I think that is the machine that we have purchased. Is that correct? Am I correct in that? The 200?
That would be my recollection. I'm seeing a nod from Jan Claire, so yes.
That is, okay.
That'd be one of the, that'd be a tabulator, I believe.
Okay, so the ESS model DS200 was found to have internal wireless cards that has a private network address that was designed to communicate with ES&S primary host server. The manufacturer of the wireless 4G card used in the ESS DS200 is a company named Telit. Telit is an Internet of Things company that has recently taken major investments from a Chinese investment fund that has ties to the Chinese Communist Party, according to the UK media reporting. Just bear with me. I did read this and did highlight what I thought was the important items regarding ESS. The DS200 machine was found to have a wireless 4G modem installed internally within the enclosures of the machine. So there's also features that are very useful to application programmers, but are also ripe for abuse by unauthorized users of the AP devoted to the ES&S machines. I could go on, but I think it makes the point that
Did you want to share a copy of that with our clerk at some point?
I certainly will, make that available to the clerk, but I know that, we've already decided to purchase the equipment, but if there are some people that are willing to come in free of charge and do a forensic audit, I'd like to see a forensic audit not only of the new machines, but of the old machines, just so that we can ensure to the taxpayers of Lake County that everything was on the up and up. I'm 99.99% sure it is, but I'm always trying to. I get inquiries from taxpayers all the time. What is going on? And I'm trying to deflect those. But now we have an outside source, if it's legitimate, that is willing to help us do that. So I'll make that.
Commissioner Young also has a comment, if you don't mind.
Thank you. I hear what you're saying, Brian, and I'm interested. At the same time, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole that has no end. I mean, you know how it is. We could hear from folks all over the community, each with a different perspective, each having heard from some organization, each having a close friend or an uncle who's an expert on
I understand.
computers.
Yeah, I understand.
So this could go on forever if I don't know this organization, but these things have been inspected at the state level by recognized experts, at the federal level, now at the local level. They've been utilized, at least looked at carefully. And everybody's come back and said they're great machines, and they've been used all over the state.
Yeah.
Apparently, we're the last county.
Well, Commissioner Young, I'm certainly willing to, do the legwork on behalf of the citizens and report back to the commissioners. I'm raising the flag. When I see something like this, I'm not making any accusations. I'm just raising the flag to say, pump the brakes just a little bit. Give us a little more time to try to ascertain whether or not there's some validity. If I come back, in 2 days to you say, hey, I've checked them out, and somebody working out of their basement, I will certainly let you know. If, however, we do the research and we think that it is worthy of additional inspection by the Board of Elections or the commissioners, we would like the opportunity to at least address that with the commissioners. If you're agreeable to that, I would be glad to spend the time on behalf of the Lake County taxpayers.
Well, I'm I'm agreeable to listening to you. But
thank you. That's all I'm asking, and I see that we do have resolutions. I was a little concerned until I came in this morning, where I know that there has to be an appropriation established before the resolution. So I assume that you're going to you're going to pass the resolution increasing the appropriations before you go through the resolution to approve the expenditure. I'm sure that's what's going to happen. Thank you very much.
Just if I may, I'm sorry, did you?
No.
John, did you want to add?
Mr. President,
Sorry, I wasn't looking at thank you.
just a few thoughts. First of all, Brian, thank you for bringing this to our attention. I don't think we're just agreeable. I think we're grateful as you continue to flag issues for us. I think it's important because these conversations need to start somewhere. So I think it's helpful, and I'm always interested to hear if you have a concern or if there's a group that we should review. Two thoughts. Number one, I would have an intrinsic concern with letting any outside group handle our voting machines, because one can add and subtract as opposed to simply audit when you give someone access. So we would have to make sure we complied with all relevant laws and that this group was above and beyond reproach, because what if this is the way people steal elections, by having their team come in and add that wireless connection? We want to make sure we're very controlled in who accesses it. Kind of my last thought is, one of the reasons why I personally am so anxious to see these voting machines come in is so that we have an opportunity to have our Deputy Director, Jan Clare, and her team review them. We all know that her time with us is limited. I wish it weren't, but I would personally feel a lot more confident if she had the opportunity to intake the machines, to do her own internal audit before she leaves, because Deputy Director Clare oversaw the last major implementation of new voting machines. And if she comes to me and says, here's the chip, I'll know we have a problem. On the other hand, if she says, I've done a thorough review and I'm confident that these machines are what we purchased, I'm not saying that that's the only check and balance, but it would mean a lot to me to have that certification from her. So I want to make sure we have that opportunity.
No arguments at all. Agree completely. Thank you.
And Brian, if I may just comment.
Yes, sir.
Again, the DS200 that we're purchasing is, again, I can't speak to what is referenced in your document, if it's the one that has a certificate of compliance for the state of Ohio or the federal. But I do put my trust as a check and balance in our Board of Elections. I believe that people who work in the Board of Elections have both the board themselves and the employees, highest level of integrity. I've kind of lost count how many years I've known Jan and Dale. I'll just leave it at that. But it's been a good long run.
Yeah, I agree completely. It's just when this was sent to me and I saw the model numbers, I said, I think it is appropriate to at least bring it to the attention of the commissioners and to get your input.
And it's a fair question, subject to fair debate. Jan, did you want to add anything to the conversation? Jan Clare, Deputy Director, Board of Elections.
Ryan, you don't have to leave. Stand by my side. Stay with me, because you and I have known each other a lot of years. And,
microphone,
and I
please.
respect. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, well, the audience.
Okay, all right. You have done due diligence in your research, and I respect that. And today you bring forth a document that I know nothing of that, and I think as you come forward and you say, please address this because I found this information. I'm going to speak to the DS200s that Lake County is acquiring that will have no internet, no chips, no hookup. There may indeed be another state that at one point in time attempted to wire in results. That may have been an agreement the state had. And sometimes you may find documents out there where they attempted to transmit votes. I'm talking about the DS200s that Lake County will be acquiring that meet all the standards required by the federal government, the state of Ohio, the Board of Voting Machine Examiners, and it's not just whether or not I wave my hand over this, gentlemen. This equipment has already been used and tested. There has never been transmittal of data within the state of Ohio, to my knowledge, in any way, shape, or form. And I am excited, as my last act, to help Lake County get the equipment that'll be in place for the next 15 years. The votes that were cast for the gentlemen who were elected to their position, I believe they feel the votes were valid.
I'm thrilled. I accept my
Okay,
We
and
exceed expectations.
I stand by that, and
Little
I
celebration.
hope in the future you're going to be trained as a poll worker, because you have worked out at the polls, and you've helped monitor from the grassroots right at the base level. So I'm hoping you're going to continue in November and work the election as a poll worker, so you are observing all the steps that take place, and that you have the confidence when you're standing out there as a bipartisan group of people overseeing the voting process that will take place, that you walk away at the end of the night and say, I trust the process, I believe in the process, and the process works.
You can count on it.
Okay, thank you. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jan. And Brian, that's an example, and let the record show, this is why I say the level of trust, competency, the performance of our Board of Elections and the staff, they're among the best in the state of Ohio. And I'm not just saying that as me, John Hammercheck. This is something recognized at a state level. So that this is why we put so much trust in our people. They are the check and the balance. So thank you, sir. Okay, do I have anyone else in the audience wishing to address? Please. Oh, Tom, okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity to address the commissioners.
Name and address, sir.
I'm sorry. Tom Hack, 11575 Fay Road in Concord.
Thank you, sir.
And so the reason I wanted to speak is I had a conversation with Mr. Massey about things that are going on in Lake County, and he brought up something that kind of tweaked my interest as well, and it does relate. It dovetails with what more or less with what he spoke about, and so the first question I have is about the voting machines that we're getting with the old voting machines and what we do with those, and I think it kind of ties to prudence. So, as I'm sure you know, and for the audience, I am on the Riverside School Board. And as I understand it, we are getting rid of the old equipment prior to the arrival of the new equipment.
Yes, sir.
And here's a question of prudence, I guess, from my perspective. If, as a school board member, if we needed to replace 7 buses, right, and we decided, gosh, those new buses are on order, and we're just going to get rid of the old 7 buses, right? But the new buses haven't arrived. And then all of a sudden, there's some issue. There's a supply chain issue. There's a strike. There's those new buses. Turns out they don't arrive in time for fall. All of a sudden, our bus fleet is deficient, right? So to me, it doesn't quite make sense. Especially, I can't imagine there are any carrying costs to maintaining the old equipment until the new equipment arrives. Why it seems like we're unnecessarily taking a risk. So I question the prudence on the timing of that. And then the other thing I would bring up is again, I use the school bus analogy, is that if we bought 7 new school buses, we would expect those 7 school buses to come complete with the seats for the students and tires and an engine. It would be a complete system in essence. But as I understand it, we're actually having 2 separate purchases for equipment. It's not clear to me why there'd be a 2-step process. Why wouldn't we have moved forward in an integrated way with both the new equipment and, as I understand it, we now require kiosks. But why wouldn't that have been all integrated into one fell swoop? We're taking time now really for the commissioners and running through several hoops to make this all happen. It doesn't make sense to me why we wouldn't have moved forward in an integrated way to get a whole complete system. We have a system in place. Why wouldn't we replace it with a complete system? Not sure why there's 2 steps. So,
Okay, I'll have Jan jump in, but just to demonstrate hopefully some proficiency on the board's part, the old equipment. I literally just found this out the other day. We've stopped our service agreement with the equipment. We couldn't use it if we wanted to. And our traditional backup has always been and shall continue to be paper ballots. If for some reason there was a situation where the new equipment, the ballot marking, the tabulators did not arrive, we'd be paper ballots, and we have the capacity. I'll let Jan speak to that. As far as the complete system, I'll let Jan speak to that in more detail, because that's coming from Board of Elections.
Okay. And just as a question, so I'm sure you'll be able to provide some insight, but what if we are in a situation where the new equipment, there's a problem, it doesn't arrive? So the paper ballots are only backup? We wouldn't be able to recertify the equipment that is leaving?
No, and don't leave, because you
So
may
you
have more questions too. For 15 years, we've been using electronic equipment in Lake County. We have always had a Plan B, always. And the Plan B has always been paper ballots. We have delivered paper ballots, and the county's absorbed a great deal of money over the years to have that second level of elections that we can conduct in the event something happens with the electronic equipment. So that is the way you should proceed for the future. And think this through with me. Why would you want to try to resurrect equipment that is no longer certified, can no longer be used as a Plan B, when you have paper ballots that will be used and the voters can continue voting? So it's important that the commissioners go ahead and dispose of the old, because it's not certified for us anymore. It's no longer usable anymore. So let's be done with the old. The Plan B's always been paper. I don't know if you realize that, but we have boxes of paper ballots. Our finance director will tell you how much we've spent over the years on additional paper ballots in the event something happens in a building or anywhere else where we need to continue serving the voters of Lake County if the equipment were to not function properly. And I will tell you, for 15 years, we've never had to resort to paper ballots. But for one time, when we had to go out to Madison and there was a bomb threat, I'm sure you probably remember that, and we were transported out there, they had to get everyone out of the building, so the equipment remained, but the paper ballots were brought outside for voters to continue voting. I don't know, Sheriff, you probably remember that, because I had to be transported and call the Secretary of State and say, we have a bomb here, but we're going to continue voting. So the recommendation is paper ballots.
So just, if I could, you said something that was, I didn't realize if my understanding is correct. So when we have an election, we obviously utilize the electronic machines as a primary, but did I understand you correctly that we always have a backup set of ballots, of paper?
There's paper ballots. Have you ever gone and voted and had someone ask you, do you want to vote paper or do you want to vote on the equipment? You have that option every election.
Okay.
Anyone that comes into a polling place, we have curbside voters. We deliver paper ballots to them.
Okay. And the inventory of paper ballots for any election, does it equate to the expected turnouts? It's a percentage thereof?
Yes,
okay.
That's based on a formula. Now, you also asked about the kiosk. The kiosk is what's going to house the voting stand for the voting unit. So it ended up being a two-step process. And the reason the commissioners are going to go ahead and approve the kiosk is so the assembly of this unit can be done in Omaha and delivered as one voting component versus Lake County getting pieces and parts here for us to assemble. So that's how important it is.
No, and I certainly understand that it's the voting equipment and the kiosk come together to create the system. I guess my question really is, with the initial request for the new equipment, why wasn't the kiosk equipment?
That's a great question. Because we had commissioners that were approving of funding that we didn't want to say, whoa, hold that contract now and let's revisit it. So instead of doing that, we asked the commissioners to do it in 2 phases. So that was why it ended up being like that.
Okay.
What else?
I think that's it, but it just...
Does anyone else have any other questions today? Because I'm just so excited about us moving forward, and your questions are valid, And they're right. Do you understand our contingency plan is paper ballots?
I-
And not a piece of old equipment that we
No.
want to try to make it work?
Yeah, no, I definitely understand that, and obviously, in a scenario where we ended up with the new equipment not being available for whatever reason,
Sure.
it sounds like we would have the ability to produce more of those
There's
ballots.
going to be an
And-
election on November 2nd. I won't be here. I may be out of state. Okay, I'll
Well-
vote absentee. I'll vote paper ballot by mail.
Yeah.
And
If you were out of state, it'd be, it would be, it'd be your option because you've done such a great job over the
Well,
years.
And,
So-
and I look forward to the fact that I believe everything will be in place for November, and the groundwork has been laid, and the commissioner's approval today is critical because it enables us to get the equipment, move forward, and God bless America.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else have any other questions?
Uh-oh, taking on all comers here.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Tom.
All
I
right.
wish you well.
Thank you very much.
And may they always continue to spell your name correctly.
I would agree with that. And then enjoy your time in Florida in November, or wherever you're going to be.
Okay, moving on. Anyone else in the audience wishing to address the board? Alrighty, Jason, do we have any electronic submissions of public comments at this time? Jason Boyd, County Administrator, indicating none. Okay, and Madam Clerk, I'm going to be changing up a few things on you here. If we could move item number 18 to the front of the resolutions.
Sure. In special resolutions, resolution congratulating Matthew Badiato on his retirement as Job and Family Services Director.
A motion to approve would probably be very helpful right
So
now.
moved. So moved.
I'll give you a second. Does this mean we get to keep him if we don't approve this?
Yeah.
Refuse
Can't
to
legally
leave.
leave.
You can second it, go ahead.
All right, there you go,
I
there you go. Discussion. This is the part where we get to say all these wonderful things about Matt, so here. Oh my God. Then I will dive in. Matt. Let's talk about voting equipment. Matt, I will say you've been an honor and a pleasure to work with. I believe the guidance that you've given as far as a succession plan demonstrates your true leadership, your openness and firmness, I will say, in handling things in a judicious way is incredible. You want to talk about fair and balanced? That's you. Your candor is refreshing. You will be missed, but you've laid the groundwork for a fantastic successor, and by all indications, she's the real deal. You did well, and we look forward to working with her as well. We've got a wonderful little resolution here. You know, you probably should read this whole thing. You know, I was like, no, she's shaking your head no. So with that, have I given my colleagues enough time to think of some wonderful, warm things here? We're all kind of stunned by election equipment here, so we're
I was ready from the get-go.
go for it, brother.
All right. So Matt, looking at what you do from afar, I've visited your offices and your spaces, but just sitting back and realizing what you've done. I mean, you're dealing with folks that have real problems in many cases, real problems. Often not due to their own actions. They're just caught up in a web of situations, and they need help. And day after day, year after year, you've provided that help. And many times those folks, not trying to suggest they're bad people, but just like any other group of people, if you put people in bad situations and they're caught up in that web, sometimes they might even behave badly, or at least have something of a negative attitude. I know that from my last year or so in and out of the hospital, dealing with all those things. I wasn't always a pleasant guy to hang out with because, there were some bad things happening all around me. And those folks are in bad situations. If you read any of these psychological help books, it always talks about be careful who your friends are, have positive, upbeat friends, people that are successful, people that are driving forward in their lives, people that are vibrant and happy. 42 years you've been working in an area where people are really challenged, and yet you still come into work every day. I've seen you without a smile, but it's rare. You're always upbeat, and the folks that work for you, somehow you've kept them in line and kept them positive. So you have done some stuff that is so critical, and yet you've done it with style and with class and effectively. So what you've achieved here is really very, very special.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lake County thanks you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
To follow off Commissioner Young, I don't think I need to tell anyone that volunteering for Lake County Job and Family Services, working for Job and Family Services can be a challenging endeavor. It's very important work, but you are seeing and working with people at difficult points in their life, which is hard on even the best people. But Director Matt Badiato wasn't just working or volunteering for Job and Family Services, he led Job and Family Services for decades. And being a leader for people who are handling a very challenging task is difficulty squared. So the fact that you were not only able to work in that environment, bringing positivity and hope to people at the most difficult point in their life, but lead people in doing that is really impressive. Not to me particularly, but to everyone who would objectively look at the situation. So thank you is not enough for 42 years of not just distinguished but brilliant service, but there's not a better word in the English language. So we say thank you with all the sincerity we have to give, and we wish that we were thanking you with another 20 years to go, but we recognize that this is a very well-deserved retirement, and we're hoping that you haven't really left us, because the folks that you've led and trained and brought up will continue with your philosophy of serving others so that they too, help people at that most difficult point.
Thank you.
And if I could just echo and amplify some things here, you're important when you've got to get out the large format piece of paper. But it's always that last paragraph, if I may share, that defines. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this resolution becomes part of the permanent record for the Board of Lake County Commissioners in and for Lake County, Ohio, and this board hereby extends its sincere gratitude for 42 years of faithful public service by Matthew Badiato, for demonstrating undisputed brilliance, sound diplomacy, unwavering guidance, and constructive leadership throughout his career in Lake County. In recognition and appreciation for his years of dedicated commitment to the Lake County Department of Job and Family Services, we wish him a healthy and rewarding retirement with his wife, Maureen, and more time making memories with his 3 children, Jessica, Kelly, and Morgan, and his adorable grandchildren, Noah, Coco, I hope I don't mispronounce this one, Riette, and Rosie. Did I get it right?
Yes.
Oh, bless you. So, Matt, with that, I know we're in that discussion phase of our commentary here, but I've got my county administrator wanting to come up and say, really? You complain about the guy all the time. What are you going to do? Jason Boyd, county administrator, come on up here. For those of you on camera, I've got everybody waving like they're doing the Macarena back there to get my attention. So
I'm a better dancer than Matt, too, just for the record. I've seen it. I'll be brief. Hell of a guy. Period. End of story. We've had some very difficult situations important, delicate situations that I don't know how the hell he does it, his team. We're going to miss him a ton. We really are. So I just want to say thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience wanting to say anything? Jan, come on. You can come. Come on, Jan. Something non-election related here. Come on now.
I've had the honor of knowing Matt for a great number of years, and not only has he served his position well, but he served the people in Lake County with a depth of love and respect, and from one who recognizes that your job has not just been your job, but it's been your passion. As I get ready to leave my tenure, I see that in you, and the fact that all these years you two have held that same passion. Also, I want to thank you on behalf of the Board of Elections because you gave us a lot of parking spaces for our poll workers, and we thank you for that. I wish you well. You've earned it, my friend.
Thank you, Jan. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jan. Matt, would you care to share? You can come up to the podium. Are you going to actually use your microphone?
use
there?
this.
There you go.
I'll just use this thing. Just thank you, commissioners. I appreciate the resolution and the kind comments. 42 years is a long time. Back in 1979, I walked into the Geauga County Welfare Department, which is what it was called at the time, as a child protective social worker. And it's hard to believe that 42 years later, here I am, one more day on the job. Been the director here in Lake County Job and Family Services for 15 years, and it really has been my honor and pleasure to serve both Lake and Geauga County communities. And as Commissioner Young said, for the most part, the people that we're working with at Job and Family Services are struggling with life's challenges, and we're there to try to assist them in any way we can. And what I've always said in terms of my career and why, as Jan said, I'm passionate about it, is because every single program and service that Job and Family Services provides is for families and children and individuals to be more, take care of themselves, to try to help them take care of themselves. And for the most vulnerable, the seniors and our children, we're there to protect them. And so it's been a great career. Looking forward to retiring. And as you said, Commissioner Hammercheck, being with my wife, my children, my grandchildren. As a matter of fact, next week is our 40th wedding anniversary, so we'll be celebrating that too. So thank you all. I really appreciate it.
Well done, sir. And with that, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes, and Matt, you're not going to get away without some kind of photo here, right? So, if we could just take a moment and do a nice little group photo, please. Oh, thank you. And to you, kind sir.
All right, go ahead.
Ignore the logo if it strikes a disgust in your heart. Okay, thank you.
It's nice to see faces without masks. You know? It's nice to see faces without masks.
So Matt, was it just coincidental that you held on just long enough to get past the mask mandate so that we could get a good picture?
Probably, yeah. A little fake.
Thank you, Matt, for being such a good sport. Such a wonderful public servant. Okay, with that, Madam Clerk, first resolution.
In the engineer's office, resolution awarding a bid contract to Roniak Paving Incorporated for the Cryle Road widening project as required by the Lake County engineer in the amount of $848,235. LCE project number 2017-005.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Engineer, did you want to throw anything in on that? A little bit of background?
The background is the project is from Auburn, Girdle Road to Auburn Road in Concord Township. Cryle Road is a road that parallels State Route 44 near the gristmill area. And then we're going to be adding a third lane on that roadway all the way.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Further discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing the Lake County engineer to enter into a local public agent LPA agreement with the Director of Transportation of the State of Ohio for the LAK Lane Road, County Road 123 resurfacing project PID number 112509, LCE project number 2020-010.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Utilities Department, resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with Burgess and Nyepel Incorporated for project management office services for the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Randy, do you want to give a little background there? Or?
Sure. Burgess & Nyepel has helped us with project management services for the past 6 years, and this is a renewal of that agreement to continue that relationship.
Very good. Thank you, sir. If there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution transferring cash from Lake County Department of Utilities Water Operating Fund and Sewer Operating Fund transfers out to OWDA Bond Retirement Funds transfers in.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution awarding a bid contract to Wilson & Son Lawn Care for lawn care maintenance for the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? I know this one's kind of obvious, Randy, but I think this is a cost saving, so you might want to discuss that a little bit.
It is, Commissioner. We have about 71 different locations where we have different facilities throughout the county, and we bid out the lawn care and maintenance for those, and we had 3 bidders, and Wilson & Son was the lowest and best bid, so we're happy to award that to them today.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. If there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
And Job and Family Services Department, resolution authorizing the signing of the regional and local workforce plan assurances and certifications.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Matt, do you want to chime in on that one? A little background?
Sure, Commissioner. As you know, Lake County is a standalone workforce area. However, by law, we enter into a regional plan with surrounding workforce areas, which speaks to cooperation, collaboration, and providing services to the region in terms of workforce development activities. So this is something that's required by rule, and that our former workforce director, Patrick Mahorsic, put together in conjunction with the other regional workforce areas.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Hey, quick
Yes,
question.
sir. Please, sir.
Matt, is that a specific region? I mean, Or is it just to be on call to help any other Job and Family Services office that's, some reasonable distance away? Or
No, it's a specific region, Commissioner, and it's workforce areas. It's not by county. And so, for instance, Geauga, Portage, and Ashtabula is a workforce area, one workforce area. So it's in cooperation with that workforce area. Cuyahoga County is a standalone workforce area. There's probably 6 or 7 that are included in the regional plan. And what it talks about is we're all, for instance, we all are involved with manufacturing. And so let's all collaborate and try to attract persons to work in manufacturing, but also fill those spots that manufacturers are trying to fill. And so when you do that on a regional approach, you can draw from other regions to our region, our workforce area, in the same way some may be drawn to their workforce area. To be honest, it's a requirement that we have to abide by, but it is also effective in making sure that the regional workforce areas are communicating and collaborating when they do like a job fair, career fairs, other types of activities, to make sure that we're all on the same page in developing workforce for this region.
Now I know you're leaving. You're retiring, obviously.
Yes, one more day, Commissioner.
I've heard about that. But will you be available on Thursday mornings to take some calls like this, when we might want some direction during our meetings on JFS issues? I know you'd volunteer your time.
Well, here's the deal. I was going to say this during the JFS time to talk, but I was remiss in not mentioning a minute ago Suzanne Kasar, who is going to be the new Director of Job and Family Services.
I thought you might bring that
on Tuesday of next week, June 1st. And so call on her for those Thursday meetings.
All right. Well said, sir.
If there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving and authorizing execution of a subgrant agreement between the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services and the Lake County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Lake County Department of Job and Family Services to establish the terms and conditions for receipt of funding.
Move to approve.
Second.
And discussion, Matt, pretty routine?
Very routine. This is just what the State of Ohio Department of Job and Family Services requires in order for the funding that comes from the state to come to our local Job and Family Services. Have to do this every year or every other year or something like that.
Very good. Thank you, sir. If there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Now, Madam Clerk, if I may ask, Mr. Massey raised a point that I think just got my attention, and I've been chewing on this. Would you please go to items 14 through 18, take those out of order, and then circle back to item 8? I think there's a sequence or a timing
Sure.
here of things that we need to address.
Sure. In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $1,252,805.95.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $618,115.48.
Move to approve.
Yes. A second.
And discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations for various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution transferring an appropriation within non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. You want to go to number 8?
In the Commissioner's office, A resolution reappointing Lake County Commissioner John Hamercheck and appointing Lake County Commissioner John Plechnik to serve on the Ohio Public Works Commission District 7 Integrating Committee and designating alternates to serve on their behalf for 3-year terms expiring May 22nd, 2024.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hamercheck.
Yes.
Resolution amending the Lake County Indigent Defense Fee Schedule and Plan.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hamercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of a contract between Election Systems and Software LLC and the Lake County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Lake County Board of Elections for the purchase of kiosks to house the express vote ballot marking devices certified for use in the state of Ohio in the amount of $406,995.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mike Matus, Budget Director. Okay, I know we've been juggling a lot of things. If we take this, now that we've got all the finance department stuff out of the way, but we've now established the fund, we're now authorizing the access of that.
The previous one actually increased appropriations with that. As we discussed when we adopted the Board of Election machines, there was a 2-part phase outlined by the Board of Elections previously, and as you stated, this is the second part for the kiosk with that. The appropriations are in place, and now we can enter into the agreement for the second part of it.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
And I just want to say congratulations on that. So,
I would have just called you. You know, we can have some interesting conversations at times. So I just want to wish you good luck.
Hey, Mike, you're going to hate me. Can you say that again? Your mic was not on.
Say what? The whole thing?
The whole thing. If you could go back, you know, that we have the appropriations, we've done this in the right order now.
Yeah, with the appropriations, we need appropriations in place, as we discussed with that. And Board of Elections outlined that previously. Like I said, it was a 2-part system. This is the second part, and allowing you to sign for the agreement for the second part, the kiosk. So Board of Elections did outline this previously, like I said. So now it's just a sequential order of that. So,
very good.
And congratulations again, Matt. So,
Mike, as always, thanks for being a good sport. Jan, was there anything you wanted to add to this, or have we covered this thing exhaustively?
I'm waiting to hear the motion for approval and all of that and the ayes.
Well, I think if there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, we're ready to do the roll call on this one.
Okay, Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Pregnant pause.
I'm just enjoying the suspense. Congratulations, Jan. Yes.
Okay, the old guy with the bad neck there, like, don't do that.
Commissioner Hamercheck.
Yes, thank you. Did we do good, Jan?
Thank you. On behalf of the Board of Elections, we thank you. On behalf of the voters in Lake County, we thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, and with that, Madam Clerk.
A resolution declaring certain county personal property no longer needed for public use, obsolete, and unfit for the use for which it was acquired, in accordance with Section 307.12I of the Ohio Revised Code.
Move to approve.
Second.
And discussion, just for those wondering, this is the disposal of the old, obsolete voting equipment. And so we can tell the truck that they're allowed to leave now. So, assuming that this passes, Jan's sitting there smiling like, yeah. So, next. If there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hamercheck.
Yes.
I can call the warehouse.
You can call the warehouse
Thank
now.
you, Jan.
Thank you, ma'am.
Resolution accepting the fiscal year 2022-2023 subsidy grant and authorizing execution of the grant agreement for the 407 Community-Based Corrections Non-Residential Felony Program between the Lake County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Lake County Adult Probation Department and the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young.
I need to, can you give me, can I get an outline of this project?
Sure.
We have it in writing here, but.
Mike, did you want to take a swing at that one? Okay.
Yep.
Mike Matus, Budget Finance Director.
This is a yearly grant that we get on behalf, and it's just a resolution accepting that. It's just like it said for the community-based corrections, non-residential felony. It's a yearly basis with the correction department that we receive from the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation that the adult probation oversees. So it's a yearly thing that they do to enhance everything that the adult probation does.
How long, Mike, how long have we been getting this, how long have we been involved in this program?
I've been here since 2006, and we've done it every year since then at least.
Okay. All right. Okay, thanks.
Further discussion? None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution accepting the fiscal year 2022-2023 subsidy grant and authorizing execution of the grant agreement for the 408 Community-Based Non-Residential Misdemeanor Corrections Program between the Lake County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Lake County Adult Probation Department and the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction.
Move to approve.
Second, with the qualifier that I bet it's Misdemeanor Corrections Program.
I can
Stand
look.
by. Hold on. Legal?
Commissioner, if I may, I did talk to Craig Berry yesterday because I had that very question, and he said, yes, it does apply to municipal court folks who are on probation for misdemeanor crimes.
I'm fine with it. Second.
Okay. Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, that, I believe, brings us to our Departmental Reports portion of our meeting, utilities.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just a quick update. I know I've talked about it a little bit in the past, but material prices continue to be in all stages of construction, sometimes unavailable, and then the price is very unstable, and that continues with our department, and especially with pipe prices. We're getting word from both contractors and suppliers that oftentimes prices are only going to be valid for 7 days, as little as 7 days. And that puts us in a tough spot when we're bidding out projects where from the day that the bids are open to the time we actually get a contract is somewhere between 45 and 60 days. So we're struggling with that. We're continuing to be able to do projects, but we just want to be aware of that in the future as we move forward this year.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Let's see, Job and Family Services.
No other report today, Commissioner. Oh, okay. I thought I did this already, but.
No, you gotta take 2 bites at the apple here. This is where it gets officially put on the record.
Yeah, so as of Tuesday, June 1st, the new director of Job and Family Services is Suzanne Kasar, who's here today. And I really feel like, it's been very helpful that Suzanne has been able to shadow me around for the past few months and get a better feel. But she also has been an employee for 16 years, and I believe she's going to be a strong, high-energy leader of Lake County Job and Family Services beginning on June 1st. So good luck, Suzanne.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, anything for our Job and Family Services Director here that we want to pile on since we've been showering him here, or are we pretty much
Move on.
move on? There you go. So it has been it's stated. Okay, and with that, County Administrator Jason Boyd.
Good morning again, Commissioners. I don't have a lot to report this morning. I did want to officially welcome Suzanne to the team. I'm sure Randy's excited that you're joining the team, so he doesn't have to sit by Matt every week. So that's an upgrade. But no, in all seriousness, Matt, once again, thanks, congratulations. I still don't believe you have a house on the lake because the invites never really come through, so I'll just leave it there. And Commissioners, our weekly Governor DeWine COVID update is we're still right at the top. I believe the 2 o'clock press conference, while the information is still embargoed, but we're going to get some good news on our color classification system. I'll leave that there. And vaccines are still available widely throughout the county, Lake County General Health District's website, and the ArmorVax app. Commissioner Hammercheck, if you have anything to add there, but we're still rolling along. Spoke with Joe Busher this morning, EMA Director. He's still continuing to distribute PPE. We're in really good shape with that. He gets a couple requests from the hospital and fire departments and schools, but I think we're in a really good spot. So that concludes my report.
If I could just add to the COVID response update, one of the things Lake County, as Administrator Boyd indicated, we are one of the higher performing counties. The health district has turned to our hard to reach segments of our society. At about the same time that we have committed to that, requests were made by the health district, and I personally had reached out to Governor's representative, Department of Health, to retain the state nurses. The state has decided to not continue providing that staffing, so we're going to have to give some due consideration to continue that funding. I am disappointed to say, apparently Lake County was one of the few counties that even bothered to ask. So it is disappointing that other counties, I can't speak to how seriously they're taking this, but when they have resources available and they just don't ask, I don't know what to make of that. But I am pleased that Lake County has continued to seek as many outside resources as possible, but we cannot risk wearing out our EMTs and paramedics, asking them to continue to do this effort in addition to their regular duties. There's going to be some tough choices here, but we do have funding available, and I think that we should give due consideration to making that funding available to our health district. So I just want to get that in there because that's just one of the things in the back channels that, yeah. Jason, anything you want to add to that one, or?
No,
I know that one's inside the guardrails.
Yeah, absolutely. I would only add that as we continue to analyze the American Rescue Plan guidance, that would clearly be an eligible expense.
Thank you, sir. Okay, anything for Administrator? All right, Madam Clerk, roll call. Holy cow! Madam Clerk, your report.
Not roll call, not
This
yet.
is one of those days, folks. I'm
But
so sorry.
I wanted to congratulate Matt on his retirement and say that I will miss you, and I'm sure knocking on my office door. It's been great working with you. I couldn't ask for a better JFS director, but of course I look very forward to working with Suzanne, who I'm sure I'll be seeing next week on Thursday. And congratulations on the next chapter of your life. Enjoy your family.
Thank you, Jim.
And okay, so the other thing is that the next meeting is going to be Thursday, June 3rd, where Suzanne, I'm sure, will be here, and at 10 o'clock. And also, the offices are going to be closed on Monday, May 31st, in observance of Memorial Day. That's all I have.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. Legal.
No reports, Commissioner.
No gushing. Come on.
I had words of good discussion with Mr. Battiato prior to the meeting. Okay, I started working with you back in 2003 or 4?
6.
That's when you came in as director.
Yeah.
Worked closely with Matt many years. Socialized with him in the past for some draft day festivities at one of the employees' homes. I can say he's a top-notch guy. Wish you the best of luck, Matt.
Thank you, Dave.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Okay, this brings us to our old business portion of our meeting. Do we have any old business? New business? Do we have any new business? I do have a quick update. County Commissioners Association, Job, Economic Development, and Infrastructure, the JEDI Committee, we met yesterday. One of the topics of discussion has to do with wind turbines and solar. There was legislation pending that had to do with local control. The analogy that I was really picking up on was very similar to what we went through probably 20 plus years ago regarding natural gas and oil and the local regulations, zoning. There's a real push to make that, again, put it back in the hands of the local government. And at some point, somebody got the idea that, you know, we ought to put the Board of Commissioners in the mix and give them authority, because apparently we have the deeper pockets and we have better lawyers than the townships. But somebody forgot to take into account that if there's litigation, we're going to be on the front seat here with no compensation. So there is legislation before our House that will give that local control squarely to boards of county commissioners, although part of the discussion was, well, it's permissive. We can decide not to take the matter up. Well, yeah. So it's a little bit of a soup sandwich, if I can just give a editorial comment on that. But it's I don't know, these one size fits all and try to mishmash, and it's disturbing. I'm concerned that this could have some serious legal liability for boards of commissioners. So if and when this comes to fruition, we're going to have have our legal take a good hard look at it. I'm sure we'll get a bless you, sir. We'll get a review from County Commissioners Association as to impact, but I really would like to get some insights from our own legal on this. All right, so if there's no other new business, moving on to our second public comment portion. Do we have anyone in the audience wishing to address the board in the second public comment? None indicated. Jason, do we have any do we have any, okay, that was just a smile. Do we have any electronic submissions of public comments?
I've got 56 from Matt.
56 from Matt, got it. They're all dated to take place on the next meeting Thursday? Okay.
No.
Jason Boyd, County Administrator, indicating none. All right, with that.
Just down the street.
Pardon me?
We can get him a room just down.
Oh, there you go.
Responding.
There you go. All right, with that, this brings us to the conclusion of our meeting. Do we have a motion to end this meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Thank you for joining us. This meeting is now concluded.